Hi there, it's David, DCM Detects, and I just wanted to highlight some of the great comments that I received on my last video. If you saw that video, there were a lot of great comments on that video. Many of you were just dropping all sorts of tips into the comment section. I don't want to highlight those and just go over some of the comments because there's a lot of value here, and I'm not sure how many people would return back to the video just to read the comments, but let's jump right into it. The first comment comes from David Kelly 8274, and he says, the greatest hobby is the world. I know what you mean, David. The greatest hobby in the world. Yeah, that's metal detecting, right? I totally agree with that comment for sure. Let's move on to the next comment. The next comment comes from Ron Barnhart 5201, and he says, I used to follow all of the local park events online. That's an awesome tip. If your community posts a schedule of events, or even nearby communities post schedules of events and it's public property that you have access to, by all means, stay in touch with that. Look at those event dates. You'd be surprised what you can find. And after an event, it's going to be a lot of fresh drops out there probably. Or hopefully, right? So events and keeping track of the events in your area, great tip from Ron there. If you're going to do that, make sure you got permission to go to those areas to detect. Let's move on to the next comment. This comment comes from Chris Presley 4669. My first coin was a 1937 Walker when I was trying to learn my Ace 350 in my own backyard. At the time I was obviously excited, but didn't know how good of a find it was until I talked to other detectorists. So there you go, Chris. It goes without saying. And look at where he found that coin, in his backyard. Now, my own yard in particular, I have been out there and I have just pounded it to death with my detectors. And I still find things when I go out there. Why? Because sometimes you just don't swing over it. The conditions of the day are different every day. And your own yard is a great place to practice. So I encourage you, if you're new to the hobby, get into your own yard and just start learning. He was just mentioning his find, but he mentioned the backyard, so I wanted to kind of highlight that. So next comment comes from Abundant Life Homestead 3100. Now, he has been detecting for a long time, so he's dropped some knowledge in here. I've been detecting for decades, and I still dig everything. LOL, great job here. So there you go. Sometimes it's site dependent. We all get out there and we get frustrated sometimes, and you skip signals, but it really depends on where you are. If I go to a field where I know there was an old home site there, I'm digging just about everything, because VDIs can fool you. Sometimes the tones can kind of throw you off, but you never know what you're going to find in those old fields. So I would say, and if there's any question in your mind that you might find something great, dig everything. So great tip from Abundant Life Homestead. The next comment comes from Barbara Bob Detecting, and he says, some folks have strong opinions about which detectors are best, but as noted, identifying and gaining access to promising sites is by far the greatest determinant in finding good stuff. Well said, Bob. Research is key to finding a lot of great things. I'm not saying you have to do research, for every hunt you do, but it certainly comes in handy. It certainly gives you the edge to be able to find some great things. So great comment from Barbara Bob. David Borink 137 says, thanks. I'm new and I went out to a softball field last week as my first real long outing, and found a few small items, but started to ignore the teens and 20s after a while. We're all guilty of that. Then after watching some other videos where people were finding cool stuff in those numbers, I realized I needed to go back and check them out. And your tip about dig everything really spoke to me. I need to use these early days to get familiar with signals and what can be found. This video was worth watching. Thanks. Well, thank you for that comment, David. The whole reason I make a lot of these videos is I'm trying to just, hopefully you'll get something out of it. Maybe not the whole video, but you'll pick something out of there that was useful to you. So, and yeah, he says, he started to ignore the teens and 20s. I do the same thing. I'm guilty of that. That's where persistence comes in. And I've been out and I've dug pull tab after pull tab after pull tab after pull tab. And I'm guilty of skipping pull tab signals. For me, pull tabs are the same as a nickel range. And there's some really awesome nickels you can find in that range. So I could be missing stuff. I've also skipped signals that are lower in the jewelry range. And I could be leaving stuff behind. So yeah, if you're in an area where you think you may be getting jewelry, parks are great for jewelry. Beaches are great for jewelry. If you're in areas like that, by all means, dig it all. So thank you, David, for the comment. Dan Luther 1741 says, I've been swinging one since 77. I'm no noob. All these are great tips. I will add, be very careful scraping/cleaning finds in the field or at all. You can really kill the value of a rare coin by rubbing/scraping it. He is absolutely right. You can ruin the value of a rare coin or relic by doing too much. But you want to be very careful. If you're not sure what it is, leave it alone. I know we all get into that mindset of, well, we need to know the date of this coin. I want to know more about this coin. But if you're on a site where you could be getting some really, really old coins or rare coins, then I would advise maybe skipping that field cleaning process and wait till you get home and you can take more time and more care with that find. So thank you for that comment, Dan Luther. Mark Kennis 8404 says, a bad day of detecting beats a good day of work. And I absolutely agree. Not a tip there, but it's a comment I definitely agree with. Anytime I can get out there swinging that detector is much, much better than working, right? And I see you got 8404 at the end of your name there, Mark. That wouldn't happen to have anything is that a random number, or does it have something to do with being a Navy corpsman? Because I was a corpsman with 8404 NEC when I was in the military. So if you watch this video, let me know, drop a comment if there's any significance in the 8404 number. Okay, this comment comes from MTSLYH. And they say, for research, you might want to look at your state's Department of Transportation. Here in Ohio, they have more aerial photographs than you can find on historic aerials. Now, I have personally not checked out my state DOT site here. So maybe I'll do that in the future. That kind of prompts me to maybe look at my own. I hadn't thought about that, actually. So I appreciate your comment. And thanks for bringing that up. So that's something you might want to do in your area. And I think it depends. It's state dependent probably. There's some states out there that probably, may not have great maps or aerials. But there's some that probably do. So go to your local or your state DOT site and check out those maps. Thank you for that comment. That's a good tip. Track 74 says, I'm going through it again. After years with an E-Track, I swallowed the pill and got a Manticore. Lots to learn. I'm digging garbage again to learn it. Absolutely. When you switch from one detector to another, there's a learning curve. There's a learning process. It's almost like starting over again, especially if it's a detector, maybe a different brand or something like that you're unfamiliar with. You gotta get on it. You gotta get out there and dig everything, listen to the tones, look at the numbers, and start learning. So very good comment there, Trek Tracks. And you're absolutely right. I don't have a Manticore, but I'm hearing that great things about the Manticore. So good luck on your hunts, and let us know in future videos in the comments how that goes with your Manticore and how it's going. Digging Dave says, "Hey man, great video. One thing I still struggle with is door knocking. Could you make a video on maybe some tips for door knocking? Thanks." Well, Digging Dave, I can certainly do that. Door knocking is not, I've done a little bit of door knocking, but I haven't done a lot. But I will definitely explore doing a video on that, because I can give you some tips from the ones I've done. But I will say my main way of getting permissions in the beginning was through friends and work colleagues and friends of friends and things like that. But yeah, I'll definitely do a video on that. Thanks for the comment, Digging Dave. Larry Van, whoop, hang on, I might butcher this one. Larry Van Alstein, 4159. You are 100% right. Learn your detector. 80% of the time, I go by the sound of the beep. You're right, Larry. There's a lot of people that really are into learning the tones. The tones can tell you a lot. Now, learning tones takes a lot of time. And it takes a lot of getting out there, putting the hours in on the detector, digging everything pretty much. You got to learn the tones. You got to dig those things. When you swing over them, you listen very close to the tone, you dig it, you find out what it is. You go to the next one, you listen to the tones, you dig it, you find out what it is. And I would also go as far as to say, too, turn on those targets, turn 90 degrees, listen to it 2 ways, 3 ways if you have to. But get out there. If you want to learn the tones, it's going to take some time. But be patient and be persistent to try to learn those. Thank you for the comment, Larry. Joseph Dietman, 7838 says, you are 100% right. Location is everything. Research, research, research. And if all else fails, do more research, right? So, yeah, again, there's times that we don't do research, but I'll give you a good example. Hunting parks and tot lots and things like that, you're probably not like, hey, let me go do some research on this. However, my local park here, I actually did some research on it, and I found out there's an old school there. Way back. We're talking, I know it at least goes back to the 30s. And not on the first hunt, not on the second, but I think it was probably around the third hunt of me concentrating and focusing on that area, I found a 1937 Mercury dime. So there's one example of how research did help in that instance. So yeah, the research, it's going to help you get on the good things. Absolutely. Thank you for that comment, Joseph. Brian 56 says, another one, when you dig a coin that comes out shiny, don't rub the dirt off, you'll scratch it. Absolutely. Carry a water bottle with you. I think I might have mentioned that in the video, but carry a small water bottle. I know here the Dollar Tree has a 2-pack of these little short bottles that you can put water in those and carry them in your pouch. And if you find a piece of silver, it's always best to spray it off with water. If you got a coin that comes out shiny, and there's no mistaking a silver coin or a piece of silver when you find it in the ground. If you've ever found one, you know what I'm talking about. It sticks out like a sore thumb, right? So yeah, if you find silver, I agree with Brian. Don't rub it. Try to spray that coin off. Thank you for that comment, Brian. And the next comment, this is the last one I believe I've highlighted for this video, and this comes from the Medical Detectors. Thanks for the awesome info and tips. One of the things I enjoy about metal detecting is being able to keep learning from others. Passing on tips is great too. Here's one of mine. He left a link to one of his videos there. So I will relink that video in the description of this video, or you can go to the original video that I posted and this one here, and you can go back to that one and click on his link. He's an up and coming YouTuber, detectorist, works in the medical field. You know, he's a busy guy. You know, I've been in the medical field. I worked EMS and fire and EMS primarily, and I know how it is. So, but go check his channel out. Check out the Medical Detectorist. I'll leave a link in the description of this video. For this video, I just wanted to highlight some comments and really give you those tips again that were kind of buried in there. There was a lot of comments on the video giving tips. And if I missed one, I'm sorry. I tried to go back this morning before I recorded this video to get all the useful tips in the comments. If I missed something, I apologize. If you'd like to see a live stream on my channel, please drop comments below and let me know. And if you want to see one, I'm going to try to get one scheduled and do it. And it's just a matter of figuring out what day and how often I'd like to do a live stream. Right now I'm thinking once a month to start, because I do work a 40-hour week. So, but let me know. Let me know in the comments. Hope this video was helpful to you, and thank you for watching. I really appreciate you watching these videos. I appreciate all of the comments. I love seeing the engagement between people in the comments section. Start a conversation down there. Talk to each other. Talk to me. I love it. I love the community aspect. So I thank you for watching the video, and I'll see you on the next one.